Beautiful, balmy, mellow Barbados. It's the easternmost island in all the Caribbean, and it's certainly one of the most colourful. Pristine white Bajan beaches are famous. So is the smooth golden rum from local distilleries. But these days, many people are attracted to this former British colony, looking for another colour, green. It might surprise you, because much of the forest on this former British colony was levelled to clear the way for the island's economic engine, the sugar plantation. You wouldn't know it walking through the dense ravine of Welshman Hall Gully. Thankfully, the former colonists had a yen for botany. This wild botanical garden was cultivated by well-heeled Victorian plant lovers. Today, it's home to over 200 varieties of tropical plants.
For about 50, 60 years, key food and medicinal plants were coming to Barbados from Africa with the slave trade, from Europe with the royalists and the European settlers and so on.
This plant is used in research for treatment of prostate cancer. Others had a more commercial value.
The smell that you're smelling are these, the nutmeg flowers here.
Oh yeah, that's really.
Isn't that terrific? It was so valued in commerce that sailors used to carve false nutmegs as the boat was sailing up to, say, the New York nutmeg market. They'd take hardwood and actually carve fake nutmegs.
Others are just plain beautiful. But if all this is too sedate for you, try this.
Okay, everyone, time for a wild ride. Here we go.
This is what's known as a driving safari. The 6-hour tour takes you to some of the best sights on the island, on-road and off-road.
Going a wild time, the off-road is the place to be. Bounce and mud and it's pretty rough on the off-road. The Jeep I normally drive would be a GT5, a 5-cylinder. Power there, yeah. Strong engine, man, the best you can find.
After a ride like that, it's nice to slow down a little bit. And the Barbados Museum in Bridgetown, formerly a British prison, is just the place to do it. This is an old African game called worry. It was brought over by West Africans who worked on English plantations, and you'll be intrigued by a series of English political cartoons produced in the early 1800s, mocking the British plantation owners.
Now, what they tried to do was, in a way, to discredit the planter, in hoping that the British population would have realized, well, this is really a form of, should I say, trade and commerce that must stop, and that is slavery. So in those 3 prints, you've got how they would have wanted the West Indian planter to be portrayed. Lazy, uncivilized, and simply using human beings as worse than servants.
Beyond the museum walls, you'll see Barbados as an island of living history and culture. This island also has some of the nicest botanical gardens in the Caribbean. A medley of colour and fragrance awaits you at Orchid World.
Orchid World starts on a very straight path, self-guided tour. You pass a lovely waterfall. There's lots of tree orchids. If you look up in the trees, you might spot an orchid that's in flower. You go through a couple of orchid houses. There's water channels that run through some of the orchid houses, and there's spectacular colors everywhere. It's a feast for the eyes.
No visit to Barbados would be complete without a trip to the beach and a cruise.
The water is crystal clear. It's around high 70s. As far as I can see, beautiful water. And we have a lesson before you go into the water, so if there's any first-time snorkelers, you have a chance to see how all the equipment is used.
And feeding the fish is almost as much fun as looking for turtles.
Okay, this is our turtle stop. This is where we do the snorkeling for the turtles. There's up to 7 giant hawksbill turtles here at one time. We have 2 of the crew members in the water, guiding the guests to see the turtles, feeding the turtles as well.
I saw 6. 6 turtle sizes, yes. Really lovely.
As you'll discover, there's much to see and experience here in true Bayesian style. For more information, visit our website on topoftheworld.net.